Hi friends, it is Molly with Soul School Tarot and Astrology, and I am so very glad to be here with you guys today. This is my astro forecast for the new moon in Aquarius and the period from January 24th until February 8th. Now, usually this is the first thing I come out with before I do all of my readings. And I have to tell you the truth, okay? I have this weird, blind spot for Aquarius moons. All right. The Aquarius full moon, I wasn't scared of it, but yo, ha, ha, ha. It came and called me, it brought me some situations that allowed me to call myself out on some things big time. And it was needed. Okay. And this Aquarius new moon is coming up. And I'm like, well, I feel like I know what it's going to be like, but I'm always looking at it from a very intellectual perspective. I'm a Gemini moon. So, if you're an Aquarius moon, if you're a Libra moon, you know what that's like. We're just, logical. We're real thinky about things, okay? That's just how we do, all right? Because air signs, of course, have to do with thought and communication. So, in this video today, one of the reasons why I put it off is that I want to, in addition to talking about the Aquarius energy, happy Aquarius season, by the way, happy birthday to my Aquarius sun viewers out there. I've been wanting for some time also to just talk about the age of Aquarius. Okay, so we're going to talk about Aquarius season. We're going to talk about this Aquarius new moon that's coming up. Sorry, guys, tomorrow. Don't worry, okay? You will feel the effects of it for a minute, okay? And then I want to talk about what the age of Aquarius is and why we should be paying attention to some of the major changes going on right now in the world, okay? Because this is the age of Aquarius, y'all. Things are getting real. I'm excited about it. Nonetheless, if this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here. Welcome, okay? I do tarot readings, of course, but I also, I like to talk about each individual new moon and full moon and any other major aspects that are going on in the sky. I'm definitely not the most experienced astrologer on YouTube. I've got people that I follow that blow my mind, okay? But then I do what I do. I've got my notes, and then a channeled messages also come in. And I have to be honest with you, sometimes it's hard to switch back and forth. I just have to adjust the volume here to switch back and forth between those two halves of my brain, channeling and then just reading logical stuff. Okay. All right. It's when I get done with a reading, I'll be like, oh my gosh, where did I put my pen? Because I can't intuitively sense the location of my pen. I have to switch to the part of me that's just ruled by the rational brain. Anyways, I'm rambling. I try not to do that. Let's get into this, okay? I wrote down, this is fun, new moon, new you, all right? Yeah, let's get into this Aquarius energy. All right. Mercury moved into Aquarius on January 16th, and the sun is moved into Aquarius on January 21st. Venus has already finished her time in Aquarius and actually has just moved into Pisces. All right. Something else that's really significant. Aquarius is ruled by the planet Uranus, which turned direct 2 weeks ago on the same day as our full moon in Cancer. Oh, wow. That was an aspect, you guys. That was an aspect. Okay. So, again, like I said, intuitive messages are trying to pull me off track. I have so many things I'm going to say. I'm going to get to them. But here are some things that are significant about this moon. All right. Before I get into the Uranus energy and the Aquarius energy, okay? In fact, real quick, I want to say all planets are direct right now. Mercury's going to go retrograde in February. I know. Don't worry about it. We'll get there, okay? But before I move on to that, the reason this Aquarius energy, it's all essentially Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, which is all about breaking out of restrictions and limitations. And we just got done with Capricorn season, and that Capricorn season has been ruled by Saturn, which is all about restrictions and limitations. That's just realness, okay? We also have this major conjunction, videos about it, go check it out, okay? It's the same, a couple days after the new moon, the full moon in Cancer. Full moon in Cancer was on the 10th, and this conjunction was exact on the 12th, okay? So here's what's happening. The moon I gotta fix that right there. On the last full moon, the moon was in opposition to this aspect, okay? Because Pluto and Saturn are still hanging out together. They're really, really slow moving, so they're just going to kind of like trot along like turtles in a race. Saturn's going to win the race because he's a little faster, but I'm just letting you know how that goes. There we go. All right. So the moon, however, is now on the opposite side of the zodiac. All right. So the moon is now in opposition to the Pluto Saturn conjunction in Capricorn. All right. It's in conjunction, of course, with no. Yeah. That's happening today, the 23rd. I apologize, you guys. I'm getting spacey. All right. So it's happening today, the 23rd. All right. The moon has done its little circle. It's hitting up Capricorn before it enters into Aquarius. All right. So that is going to be probably tonight. It's going to be some really significant energy. I just did a reading for Capricorns and whoa, they have some significant energy coming up. I got to get that video up ASAP. All right. So nonetheless, let's move on to the planet Uranus and the Aquarius energy. I already talked too much about that. So like I said, it's all about breaking free from things that are holding us back. All right. That's what Uranus wants to do. That's what Aquarius wants to do. Aquarians don't like to be held down. No, 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 no. They don't like to be narrow-minded about things. All right. I already had a thought come and go. I talk about it in the Prison Break. It's a video that I do. I did when Uranus went direct. Okay, so check that out. There's definitely oracle readings in that, but I also just talk about what this Uranus energy is. Okay, Uranus direct wants to break us out of that which contains us. I'm definitely going to talk about that more at the end of this video when I get to the age of Aquarius. Okay. So what's happening tomorrow on the 24th, the same day as the new moon in Aquarius, Uranus, the sign's ruler, is going to be squaring the sun and the moon. All right. Now, a square is an aspect where these two planets are 90 degrees apart. Okay. It's significant because they're both in fixed signs. All right. Fixed energy doesn't like to budge, and Uranus wants to budge us out of whatever we're fixed in. Okay. So square energy is about tension that we can learn from. It's about uncomfortable growth, but it is also very much about breaking free, breaking through, having some sort of revelation. And since the sun and the moon are together, as within, so without. Okay. When something is revealed to you in the world around you, something inside of you is going to be revealed to you as well. Okay. That's a straight up prediction for what's going to be going on here. Okay. And then on the 25th, the moon's going to be meeting up with Mercury. And I don't know why I wrote that down, because the moon aspects all the planets all the time. Not all of them, but it moves so quickly. Okay. Nonetheless, we have another major aspect coming up on the 26th, which is in just a couple days. I decided to do a whole separate video about it. Okay. It is Venus squaring Mars. And so I decided that I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm actually going to go into soulmate relationships, what it means to be divine masculine, what it means to be a divine feminine, and then also balancing those energies within you. Because that same square energy, that tension you grow from, that uncomfortable growth, that's the aspect that's happening between Venus and Mars on the 26th. Okay. So, Venus, oh yeah, I forgot, that's significant too. And Neptune's caught up in all this energy too. And that's significant because Neptune energy is Venus energy evolved. Okay. Whole other video. All right. I'm going to make that for you guys. Right now, what we have to worry about is we're in a fixed sign. Okay. That's what Aquarius is. Aquarius is a fixed sign, but at the same time, it really likes to be able to break out of that which contains it. All right. That's just the facts of the matter. All right. So this is the energy that we're going to be feeling throughout, like basically until we get into Pisces season. Pisces season starts, in, I don't know if it's the 18th or 19th or 20th of February. It starts in February. Okay. Yeah, we'll get there. All right. one last thing that I want to say about this moon cycle, and I just got tremendous deja vu. I think somebody's going to knock on the door before this video is over. All right. New moon in Aquarius. All right. Before I talk about the whole season, bring love into this situation is the message that we are getting from the Moonology Oracle regarding the new moon Aquarius. And because it is a fixed moon, hold your vision. All right. Hold your vision. So whatever it is that you're working on, understand that it's Piscean energy. That's our next sign. Piscean energy that is really going to bring a death to things that need to be gone out of the way so that Aries energy can come in and light things on fire and start a whole brand new trip around the zodiac. Okay. So right now we're in a little bit of a holding pattern, but it is a holding pattern in which we are reorganizing our thoughts. We're raising our consciousness. We're bringing in a larger vision of the world. We're just able to see things from a much bigger picture when we're in Aquarius season. Okay. Significant because we're going to be moving towards, like, again, in this conversation, the age of Aquarius, talking about a much bigger vision of just the entire universe that we live in. Okay. One last thing I want to talk about this new moon cycle. All right. I've been obsessed lately with the crossover and the correlations, correspondences between tarot and astrology lately. Because you know, all the majors have an association. All of the major arcana are associated with either a planet or a sign. But every other card in the deck also has an astrological association. Some cards have a date range that they cover. All right. I just randomly came across the information that the Knight of Swords, boo, boo, boo. Okay. The Knight of Swords represents the period from January 10th until February 8th. Guess what else is January 10th until February 8th? This moon month that we're in. The full moon was on January 10th in Cancer. And we have another one February 8th. Actually, February 9th, okay? So technically, the entire moon month is from January 10th to February 8th, and those dates match up exactly with the centuries-old correspondence of the king, the Knight of Swords, all right? So this is revolutionary energy. This is thinking energy. This is new information coming into a situation that completely flips your view of it upside down or expands your vision of it tremendously. This is amazing energy that's going to be coming in. Not like that has come in or is still going to be coming in between now and the full moon in Leo. That's going to be some fun energy. Okay. So I wanted to bring that up. I also have some other tarot cards that I want to bring up because I was just kind of curious. What are the cards associated with the planetary energies associated with Aquarius in the tarot? Venus in Aquarius is represented by the Five of Swords. If you have a Venus in Aquarius, I'm sure everyone you've ever dated would agree. That's a joke. I love you guys. All right. Five of Swords is Venus in Aquarius. Okay. Six of Swords is Mercury in Aquarius. This is some good stuff right here. This is some really beautiful healing energy right here. Okay. But look at y'all, guys. Aquarius is kind of getting a bad rap right now. The moon in Aquarius, which is what we're going through right now. Boo, 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 where do we go? Is the Seven of Swords energy. You guys, this is exposing somebody. This is exposing whatever sabotage may have been going on in the environment around us. Okay. All right. So they just wanted me to bring these cards out, but now they're telling me the story. They're telling me a couple stories, you guys. That for some of you guys, yeah, you were kind of stabbed in the back about something. Or somebody, there was some sort of loss. It was actually a mutual loss, all right? Somebody maybe like thought that they were going to be winning in the situation, but it ended up the kind of situation where there wasn't really a winner. There was no shameful victory or shameless victory. Does that make sense? Any victory that happened in this situation was a shameful one. The person who quote unquote won can't be proud of themselves. That's the energy of the Five of Swords. All right. And I feel like that's a real thing that's happened for a lot of you guys. Trust me. Go watch all 12 of the tarot readings that I did for this moon cycle. Trust me. This has been going on with you guys. And so the Six of Swords, because Venus is out of Aquarius now. Venus is out of Aquarius. So maybe while Venus was in Aquarius, you guys dealt with this Five of Swords energy. Now, the Five of Swords can also be self-defeat. Yeah. I mean, look at how he's holding those. He's definitely going to cut himself. But he's just happy because he won. Right? But it's like, he's going to turn around and realize, like, oh, I didn't really. Like, I am actually a loser in this situation, too. All right. So Mercury then moved into, what did I do? Yeah. Mercury then moved in to Aquarius on the 16th of January. And I think that is when we were able to get the shift in perspective, or at least that it's continuing. Like Mercury is still in Aquarius. Okay. That is allowing us the perspective change that we need. Sometimes we just have to get distance from things. And that's what Aquarius lets us do with our feelings. It's the water bear. It doesn't, I'm not getting wet. I'm going to put it all in this jug and hold it out here. I can look at it and observe it and analyze it. That's the gift of Aquarius season. All right. Is the ability to just like really objectively like look at our emotions. It can suck to look at your emotions and be like, oh crap, that is what I've been up to. But this energy helps me feel like, or makes me feel like this Mercury in Aquarius is really helping us to do the mental healing that we need to do. And then boom, that moon going to show up in Aquarius, and what's going to happen? Any deception, anything that happened when Venus was Aquarius, or anything further beyond that, like whatever it is you guys have in your past that feels like that kind of defeat, truth's coming out about it. Truth is coming out about it. The truth is coming out about it. Okay? And in fact, that process, they're showing me a sweater unraveling. Okay? And you know, your sweater can unravel for a while before you figure it out. So sometime between the new moon in Aquarius and the full moon in Leo, there's something that's going to be exposed here. That's fun that they gave me that, right? That's really fun that they gave me that, okay? So that is what's going on. That's my prediction for you guys for the month of Aquarius, for Aquarius season, and also specifically for this period until we hit that Leo full moon on February 9th, okay? Now I want to go ahead and transition, and I actually didn't do notes for this. Why did I not do notes for this? Oh my gosh. Okay, before I do that, I have a note that I almost forgot about. I have to bring that back in, you guys. Also, when I was looking at this, I got a story, a second story, okay, with this sequence of cards, all right? Have you ever read 12th Night? Okay, I love 12th Night. In fact, right now, if I was paying better attention at the time, I have a friend of mine got some free tickets to go see a Shakespeare thing tonight. I'm a huge fan. 12th Night is amazing. Okay, there's a version of it starring Helena Bonham Carter. It is boss. Go watch it, okay, if you can stand it, okay? I love that kind of stuff. What happens is at the beginning of the story, we have a set of twins, Viola and Sebastian. They just love each other so much. And they're in a shipwreck. There's this terrible storm, and the boat that they're on breaks apart, and they both believe that the other has died. They both believe that the other has died. But nonetheless, each of them finds assistance. They find somebody to help them get to shore. They're actually both, you know, saved by another member of, like, somebody on the boat. All right? So they're both taken to shore. All right? And they both, once they get to shore, realize that they've shown up in a country that they're not allowed to be in. Like, politically, if they got found out, so they both have to go into disguise. It's this beautiful comedy of errors, you guys. Okay? Because then at the end, they're reunited and it like, boom, it's a comedy now because everything turned out. It is a comedy. There's comedy throughout. Like, yeah. There's amazing characters in that story. So if you're into Shakespeare and you don't know 12th Night, go watch 12th Night. It's amazing. Or What You Will. That's the subtitle. Okay? So they just told me the story. Like, I looked at this and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the story of Viola and Sebastian. Okay? So it's a story about two kindred spirits. Like, they're actual twins. And they're separated from one another, and they actually each believes the other to be dead. But what they don't realize is that the universe has actually kind of stepped in and carried each one on a path that they really needed to be on before they could be brought back together. Some of y'all needed to hear that. Okay? Like I said, I got a video. I'm going to do a whole other video on Venus and Mars and talk about soulmates. Okay, so if that felt like you, if you feel like you're in a twin flame connection, I'm going to talk about those too. Okay, we're going to get there. All right, but Viola and Sebastian, that's all I'm going to say about this particular new moon. Now, 20 minutes in, let's talk about the age of Aquarius, you guys. I'll have to timestamp it. All right. So Aquarius energy is very free. It's very revolutionary. Okay. It's very forward thinking. Very forward thinking. Okay. Aquarius also has a lot to do with advanced technology, with extraterrestrial civilization. Okay. So, and in fact, Aquarians have this kind of attitude where they like, I don't say that they don't enjoy alienation, but they always feel a sense of alienation. Because as much as they love humanity on the whole, Aquarians don't always feel a part of humanity. I'm going to be real with you. Every Aquarius you've ever known, every Aquarius placement you've ever known is always been like, you guys, I'm not like other people. I'm not like other girls. I'm not like other guys. I'm different. I'm different. I'm fundamentally different in some other way. Okay? And a lot of times it's the way they think. That's for real. Okay? Very revolutionary. Very forward thinking. All right? That's the kind of energy that we're coming into. We have entered with the age of Aquarius. Okay, now you guys know I'm a history buff. So can you imagine how excited I was when I found out about astrological ages? Now, I've been studying astrology over 20 years. I'm going to say it was at least 15 that I figured out about astrological ages. In the age of Aquarius, you guys have seen Hair, right? Second movie/play recommendation of the AstroForecast. The movie Hair. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Okay. It's funny because they say when Jupiter and Mars align, da 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 da. I've got a Jupiter-Mars alignment in my chart. They're conjunct. Yeah, in Virgo. Anyways, let's not wander too far. Okay. The thing is, my guides and I have a lot of fun together. Whoever's talking to me up here, we just enjoy each other's company. So sorry if we get a little off task. Okay. Nonetheless, moving on. Let's talk about the age, what ages are. Okay. So astrological ages are basically the scientific thing. What's going on is the Earth, when it rotates, it's got an axis. Okay, a North Pole and a South Pole. And of course, the age of Aquarius really only refers to the Northern Hemisphere technically, because the Southern Hemisphere, I believe, is in the age of Leo. Okay, but nonetheless. So the Earth's axis spins through the entire zodiac, but it does it backwards. And it takes about 26,000 years to complete a cycle. All right, so it's a little over 2,000 years. Some people say 2,200, some will say 2,500. Nobody really agrees on exactly how long these ages are. And so different astrologers have been placing it at different times. Some people said it happened in 2000. Some people say the 80s, the 60s. Honestly, it's one of those things that you can see influences of the coming of the age of Aquarius going back to the Enlightenment age. That's just facts. The scientific revolution, that's the coming of the age of Aquarius, okay? That's probably when the very last decan of Pisces was ending. Okay, decans are a whole other thing. It's basically like a third of the thing. All right. So nonetheless, since the planets go backwards, or I'm sorry, the axis goes backwards and the astrological ages go backwards, that means that we have just ended a period known as the Age of Pisces that lasted roughly 2,000 years, a little longer than 2,000 years. Now let's think about this. Pisces, oh, the fish. Jesus, the fisher of men, born of a virgin, who's the opposite of Pisces, okay? It's on that axis, all right? So the spread of Christianity, the rise of Christianity, the importance of organized religion in mainstream world history, in like the quote-unquote dominant cultures, in Western and even Eastern civilization, been ruled by organized religion, which is a very, very Piscean trait, but specifically an organized religion in which that which is spiritual, it is about spirituality, right? And it's about transcendence. But it's also about illusions, okay? Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and that's a very dreamy planet. It's a very dreamy sign, okay? So we all know that religion and other institutions such as, but religion, organized religion, has really painted a lot of illusions, right? Y'all read the Bible? Y'all know the history of Jesus? It's been twisted. I'm just letting you know. People have been using that book for their own purposes to create illusions for thousands of years. To create addictions, to create escape. Yeah, that's Pisces energy, okay? But also, here's what's going on with those two fish in the Pisces glyph. One is trying to swim towards heaven, and the other's trying to swim towards earth. They're literally bound together and torn, all right? In my mind, that is a symbol of the fact that organized religion has separated man from divinity. Well, do I want to be a person? Do I want to be in the world? Or do I want to be of the world? Does that make sense? Okay. There's a part of you that's like, man, I just got to deal with all this 3D stuff right in front of me. And there's sinning and there's usury. Okay, usury is just loaning money and borrowing money for interest. We do it all the time. If like literally, if Aquinas were around today, oh, he would be so mad. He'd be so mad. But that's how trendy religion can be. We create the illusion that usury, that lending and borrowing money at exorbitant interest rates, hello, it's the greatest sin of our time. Here in America, at least. I know all over the place. But if you get nickel and dime to death by the system here in America, that's usury, you guys. But you know what? The church has painted the picture that, oh, that's not that important. Ask Aquinas about it. When did he write the 1100s, 1200s? 1100s? Late 11s? Dude, it was the worst. It was the worst. That was like, how would you think of doing that? Okay? In fact, it took breaking down that system to become the world we are in today. But nonetheless, all right? Religion, organized religion, the use of religion to create illusions. And to create an escape. But also to create this division within the self. Do I want to live here on earth? Or do I want to live my entire life thinking of this whole other place called heaven? Okay, sorry. I was looking at a message. All right? So, I don't even know if I've ever really had those messages before. Thank you. Those are good messages. I like that. I like that. I like that. It's a good perspective. Okay. So that's the Age of Pisces, you guys. Pooh. History. It's history. We're moving to the Age of Aquarius. So how is that going to shift the overall consciousness of the planet? How's that going to shift the direction that our society is heading in? Well, let me tell you. I brought out some more tarot cards, okay? Aquarius is the star. It's renewal. It's rebirth. It's growth. It is hope. But also it's alignment with the universe, you guys. Yeah. I saw today the scientists set back the doomsday clock a little closer, or set it forward a little closer to midnight. Okay, they're predicting the time in which humans are going to destroy the earth. Are you serious? The earth's going to stay. It'll destroy us and kick us off, right? If we're not careful with it. But actually, realistically, that's not going to happen. No, it's not, you guys. It's not a part of my cosmology. We're going to get things turned around before we ruin this planet that we're on. I promise you. Okay? And there are many out there, straight up legit, believe that in the age of Aquarius, assistance on that mission is actually coming from where? The stars. Okay? So there is, in addition to there being this, this is spiritual renewal as well, a widespread rise in consciousness. Okay? Uranus is all about expanded consciousness. And there's this great big awokeness. How many tens of thousands of tarot readers and astrologers are there on YouTube? I'm not the only one, you guys. Okay? But I think in general, people are abandoning organized religion, moving away from organized religion towards spirituality, individual spirituality. Here's another beautiful thing that they're showing me that's being broken down. Aquarianism. I don't know why I want to talk about Aquarianism. That's a word I invented. Aquarianism is also about just the unity of man. Okay, one of the illusions, thank you. The greatest illusion of the age of Pisces was that humans are different from one another. Yeah. Is that we all belong in these different groups, and we belong in these different boxes. And that, oh my gosh, I want that Guy Murchie quote right now. You know, I mean, he was a young kid. This is like the 1950s. He's like, man, I just had this idea that there's something more to all the people in the world than just like the boxes that they fit in and the names that we give them. And that maybe the only reason why we're not all united as one is simply out of ignorance of one another. What if all the people from all the parts of the world came together and learned about each other like we do on the internet? And we realize how very similar we all are and how alike we all are. Okay? So the fact that like the greatest technological innovation of the last 100 or so years is the fact that we can communicate with literally anybody in the world. Not anybody, because there's oppressive governments and stuff out there, but Aquarius is all about revolution. Don't worry. Okay? Yeah, and they're going to have me come back to those top 3 cards. I'm rambling on forever. And I'm going to come back to these 3 cards too when I talk about Uranus being in Taurus right now. Okay? I am going to say that the age of Aquarius was probably kicked off by Uranus entering Aries a little over 100 years ago. That's just another thing, okay? For most of you guys, you don't really. Yeah. All right. So, but there are a lot of people out there who not only are becoming more connected to the earth, right? But becoming more connected to the stars and to the sky as well. All right. So that's Aquarius energy. All right. I've talked several times. I want to talk again about the Tower of Babel metaphor. All right. The Tower of Babel is a story in the Old Testament. It happens like really early in, I think it's in Genesis. Yeah, it's in Genesis. Not long after Adam and Eve are kicked out of the garden. Eve. He didn't. Why? Say the words. Adam and Eve are kicked out of the Garden of Eden, okay? They find whatever way that they start building this little population. The population's traveling around. They're kind of nomadic. They come to this spot and they're like, yo, this beach is the bomb. We're going to build a tower here. We love each other so much. And we're going to build a tower all the way up to God. And God was like, you can't do that. And so he scattered them across the world and made them speak different languages. And the age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius is the age in which the people of the earth are being brought back together and taught the same language. Okay? It's a metaphor, obviously. Okay? But that vision that Guy Marchie saw of the world in 1915. By the way, Guy Marchie is the person who came up with the phrase soul school. I'll do a video about that sometime. All right. That vision that he had of the world in 1950, of everybody just belonging to their own separate corners of the world and not really interacting with one another. Well, first of all, that was just an illusion. People interact. People are so interdependent on one another. Okay. But that vision of the world doesn't exist anymore. We see each other. We see one another suffering is what they want to say to us. That's some of the lasting remnants of the age of Pisces. Because you know what? Pisces is somebody who can see suffering and experience suffering and transmute that into power like nobody else. And I feel like that's going to be a major driving force of some of the revolutionary changes that our Earth is going to be undergoing in the next at least 100 years or so, you guys. A couple hundreds probably. All right. So, Uranus energy is represented in the tarot by the Fool. Brand new beginnings, you guys. Brand new beginnings. And where is Uranus right now? It's in Taurus. Taurus is represented by the motherfucking Pope, y'all. The Hierophant. Okay. Organized religion. Spirituality, though, the way that we connect, the social structures through which we connect with God, the social expectations through which we connect with God. Brand new beginning. Okay, brand new beginning. And in fact, I think we're going to be moving out almost completely of an organized religion mind frame. All right? I'm not mad at you, man. I'm not mad. And here's what's interesting. Here's something that I've known for a while. I think that part of what is interesting to me as somebody who came into, like, I've always been aware of my spiritual self. Okay. In fact, I'm working on a 3-part series right now about my story, about a near-death experience that I had. It was a death experience, you guys. I died when I was 17. No big deal. I came back. And sort of the healing process from that. Why am I talking about this now? And one of the things that I talk about is that ever since that time, okay, like I remember talking to spirits when I was a little kid, but that gets programmed out of us. We get taught not to do that anymore. Okay, but since I had this experience, this crossing over and back at the age of 17, there's always been some spiritual awareness in me. Okay, but becoming a healer and a channeler and a reader, I've been reading for 20 years, but really doing it intuitively came later in my life. Okay, like late 30s. Okay, before that, I had this whole other path that I walked within the halls of institutions, of academia, and multiple flirtations with Christianity. Okay, I'm like a watered down Catholic, basically, like by inheritance. Like that's the gods of my ancestors, right? So that's why I got Mary and Jesus and Michael around, because people have been praying to those gods about our family for ages. Okay, so don't hate on the gods of your ancestors. Understand that they're still valid, even though their scripture has been warped by some people in power, some crazy organized religion, Pope kind of stuff. All right. All right. We even have a humanitarian Pope, you guys. That's some Age of Aquarius stuff. That's some Age of Aquarius stuff. Okay. But they want me to go back to, specifically when I talk about this, the way I talked about Aquinas earlier. You know, Aquinas, oh my gosh, Aquinas, this cracks me up whenever I think about this. Aquinas was this guy who was like, oh my God, I love Aristotle. I love reason. But here's the thing. We got to make sure to line this up with all the stuff about God before we let it loose to the public. So he had these books that were like, okay, well, let's categorize the sins. What's really a sin? Let's have a philosophical conversation about this sin, that sin, that sin. And his big thing was, okay, if we look at nature and we don't see it happening in nature, then God did not intend it. And he's like, animals aren't gay. That's why people shouldn't be gay. Okay. That's the Hierophant talking. Guess what? St. Thomas Aquinas. It's the age of Aquarius. Animals are gay AF. We know that animals are gay. Okay? Do you know what I mean? These ideologies that certain people were lesser or different than God's chosen people, out the window. Nope, none of that no more. We're not doing that anymore. No, it's the age of Aquarius. We are all one. We are all one. That's what the raising of the consciousness is all about. We are all one. Okay? And I feel like moving forward as one, we're going to have a completely brand new set of institutions as humans. This is what I truly believe. Okay? And I think it's obviously going to take some time. It's been a very long transition. Christianity didn't sweep the world in a day. Okay? Council of Nicaea was 300 years after Jesus came along. All right? So, the age of Aquarius is upon us. And what I think about somebody as... Oh, I kind of got off my rant, okay? Somebody who is coming to a spiritual awakening, but I spent so much time in the halls of academia. And also, you guys know I studied and I taught the history of Christianity. Okay? So that's the old language. That's the age of Pisces language. Okay? So as we enter the age of Aquarius, we have some stragglers. We have people who want to hear the truth in the age of Pisces language. Okay? They want to hear you talk about God and the source and the all one as the God from the Bible. And I'm fine with that. Because in my mind, all religions are metaphors of the same truth. Okay? And all metaphors can be bent and twisted and misinterpreted. That's just facts, okay? So I said I was going to come back to these. Okay? Big changes on the world stage, okay? Coming into the age of Aquarius. Big changes on the world stage, okay? When people talk about how really scared they are about like our current administration and what's going on politically, I just think to myself, you know what? Like this thing has already planted the seeds of its own destruction. The institutions that stand today have already planted the seeds of their own destruction. That's Five of Swords behavior. It's going to be difficult to go through dramatic changes on the world level, but you know what? It's going to create a brand new perspective. And I truly believe that this right here is the people taking their power back. People taking back their access to the truth. Yep. Goodbye, mainstream media, propaganda, things like that. Okay? So those are just my channeled messages, you guys. The age of Aquarius. What it means for me to be a reader in the age of Aquarius is we have to root out some of those old illusions that are still sticking around in a practice that is thousands and thousands of years old. Okay? And when I say illusions, I'm talking about, you know, like I always talk about how deeply rooted the tarot is in the gender binary. What's a gender binary, you guys? At the universal level, like really? That's a human thing. That's an earthly thing. All right? That's an old school, that's an age of Pisces thing. Okay? The idea that masculine energy only belongs to men and that feminine energy only belongs to women. Nope. We all got both in us. I'm going to talk about that in my Venus-Mars video too. Okay? But the unity within us and the unity amongst us as human beings, the unity between us and the divine consciousness, us and the whole, us and God, however you call it, okay? There's scientists coming up with a God particle. That's the age of Aquarius. That's the transition from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. Okay, so definitely if it's a topic that you're interested, look at it a lot more. Of course, once I get into these states, like I said, I didn't have any notes. I don't know what I talked about. I'm going to go watch this video and learn some things. Okay, so thank you guys very much for being here. I know these don't get nearly as many viewers as the readings, but for any of you who are interested in astrology, I am very, very glad that you have tuned in, and I hope that this has somehow helped you to make the most of the times ahead of us. Okay, happy Aquarius season to you. Happy age of Aquarius. All right, welcome to the mothership.